in their schools. South Plantation, is that a good question?
Open a window. That's the best thing you can do. I think that this whole open architecture challenge is about the fact that the design of our schools is downright embarrassing in some ways, and all of our classrooms should have windows. All of our classrooms should have natural light and natural ventilation, not only for our health, but for our imaginations and for our well-being and our souls. We should be able to look out the window and daydream a little bit. I think that it's really important, especially now that we have computers in our classrooms and all of those things. The size of the windows are getting smaller and smaller. Maintenance. No one wants to sort of deal with bigger windows because that means they have to clean them and they have to replace them if they get broken. But that's not an excuse to make our classrooms sort of lifeless and look like morgues or jail cells.
Great. So South Plantation, final question or comment?
I just wanted to ask, like, what kind of materials can you use that are, like, structurally sound and at the same time they're kind of environmentally safe, and like they can be used like anywhere, like from Florida to Alaska, for like in extreme cold weathers or in extreme hot weathers, and something for like our classroom that we want to build. That'd be good. Thank you.
Sure. That's a question I think I ask all the time. It's hard to sort of say that there's one product that's great for all climates, because it's usually not. Long before we walked around, and long before we started making shelter, and I mean sort of primitive man, nature sort of provided a model for what kind of buildings we should build. Down here in Mississippi, and especially in Louisiana, in the swamps, you have a lot of cypress trees. Those cypress trees can grow in the water. They're not susceptible to water like other trees are. So we use cypress sometimes to make our buildings because we know that they're not going to be destroyed by the environment. They are natural. They're native to the environment. You go out west from where I'm originally from, and it's a desert and it's mountains. So we use rocks and we use the mud and we use the materials that are there to make our buildings. Then everything changed, and we started using sort of materials that that could travel far distances. We started air conditioning our buildings. We started using electricity. And we started to get away from some of the natural things that we had learned for a long time when buildings didn't have air conditioning, buildings didn't have ceiling fans, they didn't have all these sort of creature comforts, and they had to be comfortable enough to be in those sort of hot summer months that you all know all too well. So I don't know if there's a material that will work in all places, and I don't know if it's necessarily good that we find one that does that. You had a speaker talk to you about concrete and talk about how concrete is, I guess, environmentally damaging because there's so much energy put into concrete. I understand that argument. I would say that concrete's pretty universal, and we use it around the world. You see concrete block, you see clay tiles, you see clay blocks. That kind of material I think you can use in a lot of places. It's a great material because it can dry out. It's strong. And if I had to put my finger on it, I would say something like that, mud, any kind of masonry. But then when you get into masonry, you have to worry about structure and earthquakes and all of that thing. So it really comes down to where you're building the building and what kind of site you have culturally, physically, material-wise, all those things. And I think you find a better architecture there than sort of thinking of something very universal.
So it sounds like we should open our eyes and take a look at the natural resources available to that specific community that we will be working in, whether it be in Alaska or Florida or California or Hawaii. All right. So I know students in South Plantation, you are starving. And Michael, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy workday, driving an hour to the video conferencing site in order to participate in this dialogue today. Students, last comments? Michael, last comment?
Thank you. I enjoyed it. I hope I didn't put anybody to sleep.
Not
Thank
at
you.
all. South Plantation.
We stay, we good.
Thank you.
See you next time. All right, up on it too.
All right. Well, have a great lunch. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead,
have one
Michael.
more comment. I'm sorry. I don't know who else your other speakers were, but I'll be looking for your design because I am one of the jurors for the competition. So I'll be especially looking out for yours to see if you learned anything today.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ohio.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. So, Michael, perhaps we can touch base by phone after.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.